Soje Chodon Soje Chonama Chacho Padu Dani Kyapsuchi Dadi Chiche Jebe Sonampi Yoga Penche Sangye Dropa Sho Soje Chodon Soje Chonama Chacho Padu Dani Kyapsuchi Dadi Chiche Jebe Sonampi Yoga Penche Sangye Dropa Sho Meditation go. Chodon Soje Chonama Chacho Padu Dani Kyapsuchi Dadi Chiche Jebe Sonampi Yoga Penche Sangye Dropa Sho. You want meditation? Huh? You want meditation? Yeah? Look at the cushion. You want to sit down? You want meditation करो? वो इधर गो. He loves to meditation. Oh, good. कोई मुझे क्या मुंह मत गाड़ी. अच्छा. इधर आओ. यहाँ से आओ. You want to come here? You want to come here? Sit here. अच्छा है. Okay, this is enough. You don't need that. Good evening, everyone.
Evening, Geshe.
Good evening. I'm asking you upset. You're upset, right?
Yes, Geshe. Good evening.
Sorry I was late.
Okay, no problem. Okay, I'll keep quiet, okay? You're going to meditation. We'll finish. Okay, sit. Okay, that's good. Okay, we're going to meditation, maybe like 10 minutes to emptiness. As much as you have the experience for emptiness or understand. As always, understand emptiness means nothing exists inherently or as a place for us. Which mind things not exist as like a place for me. You think mind like that, that's very hard to meditation. Okay? Meditation, okay? Close your eyes. Good. And her boy in meditation there. Okay. Okay. What do we talk? Something new or something old? As you know, I think there are so many different practice, prayers, chantings, so many things to learn. Then for us, we don't have much time, to study, to read all the books. And I think we have very deep understand refuge, bodhicitta, that this is the foundation. Then how I have very deep understand refuge, bodhicitta. There are so many words like first refuge, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. We need to why, how. In order to there are a lot of books to explain. I think the Lamram or the Lamram is very detailed. Just read the Lamrams. Try to, when you have like think or you can hear about refuge, something you're feeling. Like when who loves to ice cream, when you hear that something, you saw the signatures sign, you feel that, oh, I have to go to eat. Something like that kind of feeling. Like some feeling, than usual. That means you have some experience or understand refuge. Therefore, Gadama masters, even they recite, say, I take refuge Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, I take refuge Buddha. Only they're reciting and meditation. As like, same as like meditation, always. Then you have some feeling or more experience or realization. Then you move to the bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is also the great texts. There are a lot of experience, but also there are Lamram Jemmo and all the Lamrams, there are a lot of experience. Then we can study from that. The same as that you have very deep or realization, understand, then they have to understand for the four measurables. If you have very strong understand realization of four measurables, then automatically bodhicitta will come in. Those who are we're looking very short prayers, we recite like hundreds times, right? But still we don't have any feeling. That shows we're not really thinking. We're just looking for something else behind that. Okay, something else. I want something new. Or something deep. This is the deep. Therefore, first, all the Tibetan texts, refuge, bodhicitta, every praise, the four measurables, the reason for that, like that. Those also explained for the Lamrim Jemmos. Then, this is like basic or foundation. After that, in order to successful practice, to Guru Yoga, there are all different kind of Guru Yogas. The same, Guru Yoga Lama Tsongkhapa, they have always explained their very deep, long experience. It's very short as one for us to make the sublime practice, what we to pray that. They're also taught to learn deep meditation to also realization for the sublime practice. And also you can, your Lama Tsongkhapa and our Guru, so also inseparable to meditation, and to recite the Miksema and receive the blessings. Remember we did last week, we did like purify the karmas, blessings. And not like that, we said we receive the blessings, blessing for our body, speech, mind, again. And we say, what's that, Gloucester, the three verses?
verse and
Yeah, like that. The first is order, body, speech, mind. Those you can daily practice. Then you are very under the good power. Then you know it is at the heart sutra. Then explain for the emptiness. All the details that maybe different ways to explain, but that's enough. I think I'm thinking for we have so many long, sadhanas things, but maybe we don't have time. If someone is doing I have to do is not possible because someone have a goal. I need a goal. So we have no ability to find that. Whatever you have, just enjoy that. Therefore, this is to daily practice, to always. If you don't have to, tenzo lo yo chewa, nyamle chewa, tenre matana, daily shema chichi nyaptewa na, paji chewa kala kawai.
So, if you're not able to find or achieve the result, from those practices, then trying to do something else, you will not find any result either. So you have to contemplate on that again and again and meditate on that again and again till you get some kind of experience or feeling. So if you keep thinking on or contemplating and meditating on refuge and bodhicitta till you find or till you gain some kind of experience, then that will really help to develop your mind. And also, if you see your guru inseparable from the deity, and then do this practice of accumulating merit and purifying negativities, and do the visualization of the nectar flowing down and so forth, and that way it will be really helpful.
And
then that also, if you do it, with the understanding of emptiness, just like it is explained in the Heart Sutra, then you will have this complete set of practice of both method and wisdom.
So
where will you find more knowledge or more information about these? So those you can find in all these teachings, like the Buddha's translated teachings and also the translated commentaries, but not all of them are translated in English. And even if they are, then you will not have enough time to read through all of them, right? And so, but if you were to read the Great Spiritual Path to Enlightenment by Lama Tsongkhapa, just like, and I suggested Jennifer to read once a year, then you get the whole the complete information, because it includes everything about all the teachings and practices from the beginning to the end. So if you keep on reading again and again, then you gain better and better understanding. So if you feel like you have already read it, but then you understand better this time, and so that makes you feel like you haven't read it before.
Right? You have something new once. So I didn't saw before that. Oh, I didn't think about that way. It's really happened. Therefore, I think this is very like simple problem that also did down. And the Kanchitania, the Chetawena, and the
So this is very good, in terms of our time, the short time that we have, or the little time that we have to give for the practice and study. If you can just just study this much, and that will complete include the whole teachings of the Buddha.
제가도 로게 되면 안에 가디 샤자치 보세요. 아니 가지고 말은 안에 도바치 보세요. 그래서 동반이지 따위 선배 동반이 또비 샤람기 남 때문이거든요. 장자에서.
And so there's this great practice, called like the great completion stage, according to the Nyingma tradition, and then in Geluk we have the Geluk's the Maha Mudra, and so these are all like practice based on on emptiness, on understanding or meditation on emptiness.
제가 아니 민주 쇼도 야다고 따와서 매와이나 다 되라 전에 마다전에 매매 통장으로 집어넣어.
So these great, profound practices that there are that we can do, can't be done if you don't have the basis, the basic practice of the renunciation, bodhicitta, and correct view of emptiness. So if you don't have that, then it's like trying to do a business without any capital. So without any capital, can you do a business?
어떤 텔레지에서 제가 다 대난 좀 하고 얘기하는 게 냐면 양상도 저도 당간 너무 뭐 시체에 같이 정리 도움이 되는 말씀하지 또 대행하고 시달로 좀 뭐지 되나 또 소소고지 생각해서 또로 제거가 되는 거야.
So it's good to keep on studying, though you might take long time to gain any kind of experience or realizations. But if you keep on doing it, more you do it, better you become. So it will always be helpful to do it.
Okay. Therefore, the future everyone also recite to Lamrim Chamber once a year. If you stay your luck 50 years until you die, you 50 times. 50 years. I think nobody has 50 years. We all of us on the 50 years or over 50s. No, 50, 100 years too old. Right? But even you have like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, that time is very grateful. Therefore,
so that way your life will not go in vain. If you at least do that much, then your life will not go in vain. So like Geshe Tsuga, while he was alive, he used to do that. He used to recite the whole Lamrim Chimo, or the Great Still Path in Lagumba Lama Tsonghaba, once a year, and also the short, for 8,000 verses of the Professional Wisdom Sutra. And then he also recites Om Mani Padme Hum a lot in the day. So it's not that he doesn't know about other profound teachings, right? It's just that because he understands the importance of these basic teachings, and therefore he spends all this time to do or to read these texts.
Okay, just keep thinking. Okay, some people say, I don't know, I'm going to some practice, I don't know what to do, what's best. This thing is good, okay, but you can generate to them
whether you will gain the realization or the result from those practices or not, depends, of course, on individuals.
Okay.
Where did we stop last time?
I think verse 50.
So that he was talking about the correct view, right? And, the correct view, so mundane correct view and then a super mundane correct view. So this is talking about the emptiness, right? Contemplating on the meaning of emptiness. So what is self? What is I? So So, but it's like just like you said in the Heart Sutra, there's no form, no feeling, no composition factors, and so forth.
제가 단 되는 스킬은 대비 양답에 따와달라야 따와만 시송도.
So here, when it talks about the supramundane correct view, it talks about there are 4 different types.
즈다 많이 됐다. 즈데 라지 TV 따다 나다 징마레 에스테네 거기다.
So it says that the self is not one with the aggregates intrinsically.
아니 이거 다 대야 아니 라지 TV 아니 모다 대바 말에 다 대야 즈다 라지 TV 모다 대바 말에.
So and then also the form, I mean the self is not so self does not possess the form intrinsically, or form is one side.
아니 이거 즈라 라지 TV 따다 내가 말에.
And then also the self doesn't abide on the form intrinsically, or from its own side.
아니 이거 따라야 즈라 라지 TV 내가 말에. 대다 시절에 따와.
And the same with the form will not abide on the self intrinsically.
어제 따뜻하다. 도치네 딸을 많이 쓰면은 따다. 그리고 맞지 못성스러워. 받다. 받다가 오만이 무슨 주변에 나타나고 그걸 빼면도 지워서 딴데 타지외가 따와 타도 아니 빼면서 띵사 보여. 다디나 되되면 와.
So in this chapter, the 6th chapter of the engaging in the middle way, Chantakirti has explained it very in depth or in detail.
다 뒤져서 설명이 갑자기 한마디. 다 둘이 되는 수많은 게 아니 다 도저히 누가는 해서나.
And if this is how the aggregate is, then what about other, like the sounds, the tactile objects, and so forth?
강들 안에 주라 속에 풍분 더진 레면 딜레만스나 아니 다지 코도지 가로 미기 삼샤데 델레만스로 아무나 남간에 막 밥이 오는데 팀제 말해.
Then it says that the aggregates do not arise randomly. So, like the aggregates, they're not just like falling down from the sky, or it's not something that is created by people.
아니 딜레만스한테 아니 대따발이시고 말해. 까지 원슈세데 양 슈럽 가시게야 원슈세지 자 도시 바바이 디그 바 남육주네야 참 소셜을 해서 어떻게 말해.
Nor do they arise from time. So, like the permanent time, like there's a belief that the things, the people, the things in the universe, everything is created by like Shiva and so forth. So it's not like that.
다다 라지 때문에 따발이시고야 말해. 라지 레몬.
And then it says that they do not arise from a primordial nature as well.
아니 뭐니래 시고야 말해. 뭐니 봐. 다니 봐 말해.
Nor from their one essence.
다나지게 원슈라스게 아니 따베게 되시고야 말해.
And they do not arise from God, nor do they arise without a cause.
아니 다오나 아니 문테미 되시고 말해. 점에 버리시고 말해.
And it says no, that they arise. They arise from.
원슈레는
Gyumebatum.
아니 점에 버리시고 말해. 점에 버리시고 말해. 문테미 되시고 말해. 다 원나까지는 미시스 단슬인 중아리 줄음즈스.
And then also they do not arise, from the discordant causes. And then so it says things. So know that they arise from ignorance, karma, and craving.
어다 미시 바다 대 마리베 원간에 용구시와 레사 레텔라 때니 아니 중아리 에스 중탄 어디.
And so it says that you know that they arise from ignorance, karma, and craving. So out of ignorance, you create a karma or action, right? So then, because of having created the action, then you experience the result. So this all comes from the karma, which is stimulated by ignorance.
Okay? 다그 다가 가운데 쇼래. 참 나 가운데 쇼래.
So where does the I come from? The self or the I come from?
아니 간도스나 왔다 밤에 그러나셔 오르나 아니 다 저도 쟤도 데려다야만 다 저도 다 지원하면 내가 되네 내가 나도 이거로
So you say, I came from my parents' sperm and egg, right? That's what we will say, right? But that's the condition, right? The real cause is our karma, right?
다 까마서 간지 다 줄라 되는 시험이었어
So karma is the cause.
그래 제가 아니 어디지 다 제대야 아니 못하면 시험 말이야 소소도 tumba 있고 그래
And then the cause, it cannot be the discordant cause. It has to be a concordant cause.
오케이 나한테 가서 팀을 맞춘 대신 잡사만 가면 되고 세고 시원하면 하면서 지금 대신 세고 먹자 돼 봐.
So we talked about this a little bit, right, last time. We did a lot of debates.
오케이 다 되게 쉬워요 쉬워가 납좀 같이 지로다.
So after that, let's go to the verse 51. Okay, let's read that. Know that the three shackles binding you in samsara and blocking the gates to the city of liberation are clinging to asceticism as superior practice, having a perverted view of yourself and doubt.
Okay. Now I need to Margaret can explain that. Or you understand that? No, whatever you are, just discussion, okay? Nothing too serious. You know, if you fail, you don't get a diploma, not like that. Can you explain something? Surely, not too long. Or you understand?
Ishla, you always pick me when I don't have my book with me.
Oh, really?
My book is downstairs and I can't get it.
Okay, sorry.
No,
Okay.
but if you, okay, we're talking about karma. Can you read it again, somebody?
Okay, no, it doesn't work. Okay. Okay, Mr. Okay, then you can stay. Okay, no problem.
I can try. I was trying to listen really hard.
You don't have
Sorry.
to listen. Your quiz, okay. Okay, Mr. Mark.
What exactly the question?
We understand. Explain for this verse.
Verse 51, explain.
What are the three shackles is basically?
Yeah, what are
Well,
they?
it says right here, the first shackle is incorrect ethical systems, right?
What do you mean that?
I mean, most people, they decide what's right or wrong based on two, like either nature or nurture. You know, they'll use ethics that are naturalistic, or they'll use ethics that are based on scripture, you know. Great being X said this, and therefore he said it, I believe it, and that's it. The second shackle is a perverse view of the transitory composite. I think what they mean by that is that it's substantial, self-inherently existing. And then the third, they said, is doubt. And in this sense, it's not, I think, not critical doubt, it's wavering, you know, just everything from one position to the other, and you're not sure about anything, you know. You hear something good, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense, you go that way. Oh yeah, I hear something good, okay, that makes sense, but you're not.
Okay. How about Bob?
Pretty much the same.
And okay, Rika.
First one is the wrong view of believing the incorrect ethical system or religion or those things. One of the 10 root afflictions. And then the second one is just like it says that believing self. And then the third one is the doubt concerning the liberation path.
Okay, Jennifer.
I think the first one, yeah, it's when you look at the 6 root delusions, and then there's the wrong view that it's broken out into one being, yeah, the bad ethics, for instance, like believing that you know, there's some religions that believe that animal sacrifice, for instance, is a path, and then also Yeah, these are all based on the view of the wrong view of the transitory collection.
Okay.
Except for, yeah, doubt is its own, yes, afflicted doubt.
Morning, you want to say?
Yes, I would say I agree with what Jennifer and Rika just said as well. I think that having an understanding, like the wrong view, helps me because I'm not like totally aware of everything, but I know it helps me to be aware of my view not being, my view being towards Dharma. I think that that's helpful for me. And it helps me to put things into perspective and have a better understanding of the way things are. So I can see this makes sense to me because the way I understand it is that, having an understanding of something, because I didn't have an understanding before of how things were. And I always had those questions, what's going on? What are the answers to some of my questions and about how, why things happen, different things like that. And now I feel like I now have a better understanding. So I think the wrong view is definitely a way to get on the right path. And then having a perverted view of myself helps me, I probably still have some of that stuff going on, a lot of that, but in the doubt, but I think I'm on the right track. But, that's what I see that. So I can see that helping me. I just have to practice more and learn more and stay on that path.
Okay, how about you? You say something, try? Oh, it's okay, it's okay. Okay. 내가 가르는 거 있으니까 내가 더 가르는 거 있어야 되고 오는 거지.
So first of all, you have to understand what does it harm.
아니, 근데 사실 심어진 로고 있나? 사실 심어진 내용 로고 있나?
So for example, if you want to go to, if you need to go to New York.
아니, 내용 좀 만들겠다. 좀 만들겠어. 좀 만들겠다.
So you need to go to New York, but if you don't want to go, then that will be an obstacle. Like not wanting to go to New York, it will be an obstacle to get to New York.
아, 로고도 내용 남바도 만들었지. 아니, 얼마나 남바는 남 로반도 좀 그러지.
Well, then if you need to go and you want to go, but then if you take the wrong path, like instead of going to New York, if you take the path road to Vermont, then that's the wrong path.
You can
If you
reach
take the
that.
wrong path, then you will not reach to the city or the destination that you need to go to.
아, 남바들 태som사네. 아, 남바들은 좀 답답해. 남 태som사 되었나? 같이 내용도 몰라. 같이 좀 చే서.
Then you want to go, and you are on the right path, but then if you have a doubt, maybe this is not the right path. Though you are on the right path, but in your mind you have doubt, maybe this is not the right path, then maybe I should not take this path like that. So if you have that doubt, then that will also prevent you from going and getting to New York.
같이 대승 가능한 이유가 내가 말해.
So these are three obstacles. So if you have these three, then you will not reach New York.
어떤 때 빼려고 시작했다. 빼도 되는 답을 되게는 싫어.
So that's the example. I don't know if it goes along with the meaning or not.
다 트름 다 도중 주면서 봐서 같이 안 좋은 남백이 시대는 트름 세대 몇 개월 몇 개월 쇼를 송이 삼지를 다 트름 세지라고 그러와.
So like it says the clinging to the asceticism as superior practice, right? So when we talk about the moral conduct or morality, then it is the mind. It is the action, right? Or the moral discipline that protects one's mind from engaging in the wrong path.
한 네가 따왕감이 제대로한테 좀다 아니 도중 정도에서 따왕감 받는데 따라하자 되면 돼 있잖아. 저하자 되면 제대로 접근되는 점봐 어디 장면에서.
So here it says clinging to the asceticism as superior practice. Right? So thinking of those as asceticism and as a superior practice, and having the perverted view of yourself. So this is mainly referring to like thinking of the self existing, self-sufficient, and substantially.
근데 따왕에 봐 되게 지선 라네 아니 투tum바 엠발은 아니 지 투tum 소마다 또 투tum 소마대야 근데 리소수 리라야 깔레 때지 아니 근데 누가는 좀 봐야다 아니 동거는 총하다 된적이 아니 또줄이야 아니 제도에 된적이 깔레라 아니 지금 좀 제가 뭐 다들 제도에 된적이 또줄 저도 좀 봐서.
And so out of that wrong view of grasping at the self as existing self-sufficiently or substantially, and and following those the moral discipline of the asceticism as the superior moral discipline. So, like, what is the asceticism here? Is like considering those hardship practice, like such as setting a fire on one's finger, or jumping on a trident, and so forth, as a superior moral practice.
내가 배신하 아니 어쨌든 데이터 맞춰봐 따오면동이 맞춰봐 그 만동이 캠mel랭이들 따오면 봐서 대단한 남 사제단 좀 만들고 좀 배신지.
So not accepting that the things, the self and so forth, are empty of existing self-sufficiently and substantially. So not wanting to accept that. That's like not wanting to go on the path.
다 된리가 나지도 데이터 말 때내 아니 좀 소마데 좀 저도 저런 거 그래서 남 로바도 어떻게 빠지.
And so by relying on that, the view, incorrect in the view of existing, of clinging, or of grasping at the self as existing self-sufficient and substantially, and by grasping, by holding that wrong view, and engaging in the wrong conduct, like considering the asceticism as the super conduct.
아니 데려다니다 소소고 지금 리기야 깔레먹고 자야 진담을 저도 어떤 소리다 남 로퍼시 보아세티.
And so by based on that, then doing many hardships, engaging in the very difficult tasks, hardships like that. So that will be that will be like engaging or going on the wrong path.
다 라체데비 데이터 맞잡은 심비가 람라 태좀 사와스.
And then having doubt towards the path where one does not cling to the self and other phenomena as existing self-sufficient and substantially.
Okay. 원래 다 가더라니 두좀 많이 발라 두좀 두좀 많이 발라 두좀 안에 다들 좀 맞춰 발라 다들 잡은 안에 남 이야도 발라 대좀 사와 어떤 때 매워서 맞도 있나 안에 저 안에 직대는데 비가 안에 타와도 톡톡 말해서.
So if you if you see the wrong path as a correct path, see the wrong asceticism as a correct asceticism, or wrong moral discipline as a correct moral discipline, then you will never be able to achieve liberation.
Yeah, Deborah.
So he seems like he's talking, Master Nagarjuna is talking a lot about the contemporary culture in which he lived, with the Hindus did a lot of these ascetic practices, and we don't do many of that anymore. But there is the nyungne that people do where they fast and they even don't drink water all day long. So why is that not considered an ascetic, inappropriate ascetic practice as well?
Okay, answer the question. Who has answered?
Even than throwing yourself on a trident.
But it's much different though. This is a one like kite. How you explain that? Is it big or small? It's much bigger than small. But how you explain food?
You're not really harming yourself. But
Yeah, you're very hungry all day.
well, you're hungry, but you're not.
How is it? No, you're not killing. You're not cutting your fingers.
Right.
I think it helps develop the strength not to follow attachment.
Okay.
And you're cultivating compassion the whole time, you know, in the Nunye, it really.
Maybe you just tired all day and get mad.
Then it's no good.
When you're hungry, thirsty, you know, people, everyone just looking. If you're not really interested or close up with
Yeah, if you don't have a strong, wish to do that, then you might feel that way.
you know, it's not seven pen George now. Mapping Naviga Shamasana, Kalashima, Trojan Military, the chance of Makolo. Consado is having a good check a time.
So like in Geshe, he doesn't, he eats the meat, so he doesn't find any flavor in the other food if he doesn't have meat. He's like that, but then during the Sagadawa, he stopped eating meat. But now then he doesn't find it in that way. He doesn't feel that way. Like he finds okay, and he finds the flavor in other food as well. So it's all in your mind. So those people who jump on the tree-limb and those who set a fire on their finger, they do it willingly, right? They do it, happily. They're not like hesitant to do that, or they're not like forced to do that.
Okay, yeah, answer the question. You done?
So what's the difference between that?
It's because the wish, what you get out of it is different. The motivation of doing Nune is only a day and a half. The Buddha starved himself before he went to the Bogai and meditate, that he was starving, and that's an extreme.
But he found that wrong, right?
Yeah, he found it's wrong.
Oh, so that's
So,
okay.
but it's just a day and a half. Is that like Bob said, finding your, seeing your attachment and stuff. But the motivations are different, and then the putting yourself in the fire, or like putting the needles and all that stuff. If you're doing that to get happiness out of that pain or that extreme the practice, and that's a wrong view. I remember Ling Rinpoche, when he came, he talks about when he went to Korea, he saw some extreme practice in the Buddhists were doing, and then he believed that was a wrong view. That I remember that. That's
Very
a
proud.
different.
It shows very proud.
Yeah, be proud and getting bliss out of it. That's from starving yourself or putting yourself higher. That's a wrong view, wrong practice.
Some people do 100 consecutive Nunyes, though. It's not just a day, it's a couple of days, they'll do 100 straight.
But if you believe that giving a feeling of starving, that will give you a happiness, then that's a wrong practice. If that's the aim. So it's the motivation and the aim. It comes from that.
Okay, Jennifer, listen. What's your answer?
No, ask Deborah, are you satisfied with that answer from Rika?
Are you good? Rika and Bob, Deborah?
I think that we're taking 8 precepts, it gives you more time instead of spending a lot of time. I spend so many hours a day cooking, so you have much more time to do practice. So that's definitely a benefit of taking the 8 precepts. But Nune is, much more extreme. I mean, I find them very hard to do. I've done a couple. I find them very difficult. I don't know. I'd have to read the book again and see what they say the benefits are. I don't remember exactly, other than,
I heard that Lama Zopa Rinpoche gave different students different practice to do. So maybe, the teacher won't give you Nune because it's hard to do. But for student, somebody who can do Nune, I'll do it. Then it's different practice for different people.
Yes.
So at first I thought the answer was pretty simple, right? It's like one is self-cherishing, so it's an antidote, and then it can go to an extreme of self-destruction. But then the more I thought of it, I thought, okay, the Buddha said don't do those extremes, but yet he would feed himself to a tigress. So on a physical level, no, don't cut your hand off, whatever. But in theory, they'll say, oh yeah, if somebody needs an eye, give him your eye. So it's Actually, the more I think of it, the more confused I get.
That's good. That's good.
That's good.
Different motivation.
That's good. That means you're learning more.
Yes, you learn something. No, this is true. Yeah. You are more comfortable, you learn something.
No, I have that doubt too, because there are so many stories like that, right? All these holy beings, going through all these difficulties, and hardships, right? So you have heard about this Bodhisattva, right, who sprinkled his blood, on the ground, to settle the dust, like that. So that's like also very extreme.
Wow.
Yeah. How about Angela? No,
Well, I think for those cases, yes, very, I would say really rare and odd. Maybe not true because most of people are still like ordinary beings, right? So and I try to find a way more applicable to everybody can adapt to. So yeah, I do understand there is some like a little bit like a fairy tale, but I mean the practice for those like greater beings, maybe it's just very hard to imagine that what kind of mind, state of mind and their conduct can reach the level. So I would say for the average of most like average people, then maybe we're not ready for that, so I think we just like try to
we'll go different direction. With who's doing, who's not, we're not talking about that. We said what they do is wrong, but what we doing also that is same or different.
It's different.
What different? I
Well,
different.
because, okay, so in the cases of those extremes, the self-flagellation, they're trying to destroy the body because they feel like it's impediment to liberation. Whereas in the Nunya, and in the Mahayana, you see the body as a vehicle, a very valuable vehicle to be able to fulfill the aims of yourself and others.
You're not eating food they wanted, it doesn't benefit others.
Well, because
No, I say, yeah, okay, now Margaret, okay, Margaret. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess, well, sorry, just about just now, but I managed to get the book up. So about this discussion, Deborah's question, try to explain this.
Yeah.
I think people, the difference is that it's in the whether it's doing it with understanding and wisdom or not. Whereas like when people are doing the behavior, just believing that the behavior itself will bring them liberation, versus like when you do a practice with with some understanding, with some, that you have to do the action plus wisdom together, that you're doing it for your understanding why you're doing that practice. That, I think that is the difference. I mean, if you're saying wrong view,
I'm sure they also understand what they're doing.
but they're only doing, so they're doing it believing that the behavior itself will just bring liberation, full stop. Like by but that's
Thinking that we'll achieve liberation, or
Yeah.
we'll achieve even state of full enlightenment.
Did you take precepts, Sam? Did you only Sam?
Doesn't it
What's the
go
difference?
with
so that's the yeah.
This
Okay.
is a good question,
Yeah.
We just think also, oh, we have just left there, man. It's very deep question. We don't really think. Mark said first someone, now they more difficult.
When Rinpoche said that, but in Buddhism also, like we have heard about these Jataka tales, right? Where Buddha, when he was a practitioner, even like he set up, like he dig a hole in his body, like 1,000 holes, and then put up a wick and a bottle lamp, and then he lighted, like offered the bottle lamp like that. Have you heard that story?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So it's in one of his lifetimes, to offer the bottle lamps to his guru. He does, like make a hole in his body, put a wick, and fill with the bottle lamps, like thousands of them on his body, and an offer like that. So
Sell their limits to be able to have offerings.
exactly like that, yeah.
And then the motivation, I was gonna say, it could be the motivation of like trying to purify and do something to become liberated and.
No, I'm sure. We
But
don't
it's-
really know what their motivation. Their
Yeah,
motivation.
But
Their motivation is also to
That's
liberation for samsara.
Yeah, motivation is one thing, right? But the action also has to kind of, seems to have to have a like kind of a, some way to benefit others.
right.
How does that do? Like of course, if you say, okay, with the motivation to gain enlightenment for the benefit of others, I jump on the train. Is that okay?
Yeah, can you say?
I was just gonna say the bodhicitta motivation. So I guess if, I think if jumping through a train is gonna benefit other people, then, and I know it's gonna benefit other people, then why not do it?
Okay.
Andrew has his hand raised.
What's the ending?
Andrew?
Oh yeah. Well, I was thinking about like sometimes a precept is broken for the right reason, like when there was, I think, the Jataka tale of the Buddha saving like 500 people from a robber who was going to kill all the 500 people on the boat for himself, and he was willing to take on going to the hell realm. And obviously, killing, it's the first precept not to do, but he took that on with the right motivation. And I think what this conversation's reminding me of is like there's a quote like that quote app that's from, I forgot, like the inside job quote app that said from Lama Zopa Rinpoche, I think, that said, you can't tell everyone to do this or that. It depends on the individual. Like Buddha had, for example, I think it's Chanti Pindika, the very, very dull monk whose brother was way smarter. He became enlightened through just scrubbing and focusing on cleaning. And then someone else is going to become enlightened through like what Chanti Pindika's practice to become enlightened is not going to be the same as Milarepa's. Like, and this is going back to like, well, I forgot the person who was like, the more you read this, the more it's confusing. And I see that too, because it's like, for example, you don't want to be holier than thou of ascetic practices, but Milarepa, after the trial of towers, he went to the mountains for years and only survived on nettles, which is an austere practice, but that, like, obviously, like that quote says, it depends on the individual. If any of us tried to do that, we'd probably die.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Yes.
One last thing, the only other thing like is like a guidepost. Like let's say you're a mother or father, and your child is in a life or death situation. You'd sacrifice your life for the child's because at that time you have enough wisdom and discernment to say there's only two outcomes here, right? Now, like when I think you have omniscience, like if you're a high level bodhisattva, rather everybody's looking at the motivation, but we're not looking at the understanding. Just for no reason, jumping on Trident isn't benefiting anyone. You're just an idiot. But if you knew, if you had an omniscient mind, and you knew that this would benefit the most thing, you would be willing to sacrifice yourself if it made sense.
Okay.
That's the best I got.
There's got to be some causal relationship between the action and the.
Okay, that's good. Anyway, you have a lot discussion. This is very also one way is simple, but one more complicated. I think my understanding is one Bob said we have don't touch for our food always. We have always, especially we choose everyone with strong touch my food. Secondly, it takes also a lot of time to prepare that. Right? But Buddha also give the monks not eat in the afternoon. One of the many reasons. Also, you eat too much. Also, you're not able to meditation, study well. Your body becomes very weak, very heavy. Therefore, less food. Thirdly, also, I think we need to also. Another one said was, I'm very lucky I have a lot of food. Who don't have food? You experience for that. And also to, if I'm report the hungry cause, how can I do that? Those things to try to realization, then try to more practice, more study. Maybe like that way. It makes sense?
Yeah.
But just like study more, okay? More discussion. The thing is that sometimes the more detail or some more deeper than you some more things. We small things to connect that. You just think, they also who serve their body, they think this is the way to enlightenment, nirvana. That they're able to jump, they kill, then become nirvana. They believe. According to Buddhism, this is wrong. This is not correct way. According to for us, but who knows? Only Buddha knows. Now, how we know? We only take the quotation for Buddhism, but we need to also logically make sense. Because we say Buddhism said, Buddha said, okay, say yes, sir, Buddha said, but then logically, with time, we have very strong attachment for food. And also, we don't have any compassion who don't have no food. If you have experience who don't have food, then who's looking for food? We're able to have something we're able to give. Otherwise, you don't have experience, you say, well, you don't know who will have that experience, right? The people who have very difficult situation, maybe Karupana, Kamish. Example. Example. I don't know. What example?
People without food? Or
No, something, sort of 냠냠이 채워야지. 냠냠이 막 채워지. 냠냠도 였나? 근데 그 때문에 갈래요, 다 삼시. 냠냠이 example. Who has two deck? If you don't have any experience with two decks, this is not bad. You think, but someone that experienced this, someone says, I have to, you feel very like compassion for them. Oh yeah, they feel very bothers. It's not you lose your life serious, but it's really serious. But who don't have any experience, this guy just complain. Even they have two decks, how can complain? Because he have no experience. Like that.
Yeah.
Do you guys have also allergy? It bothers you? Then someone's allergy, then you feel bad, right? If someone doesn't have allergy, because you have no experience. Yeah. I think we have experienced how hungry who don't have food, be more compassion. I think we can like that way. Does it make sense? Yes.
Yeah, so I was curious why it's only saying aestheticism as superior practice, because what about practices such as, people who bathe in the Ganges River, to purify? I mean, that would be a practice that would, it isn't an aestheticism, but it's.
Yeah, there's also, like that. They don't have to,
There's no space to write.
Yes, write everything.
It's just there's no space, enough space to write everything about.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
it just seemed like it was singling out that as a religious practice.
뭐라서는 더 춤건 걸로 추점나 디보다 그래서 또 챌린저라.
나도 챌린 것 같아.
너도 못 챌린 거라. 다들 되는 가지는 거또 벌써 더 주는 마셔래.
괜찮아도 차대야. 다들 그 강가 제만 그때 차대야.
다들 도시 주점 도시 말아. 도시 말았을 때.
가지 도시가 가지 따와로 줘래.
It's not a asceticism, but
it's cool.
But it's a wrong view.
Is it enjoyable or not? Like India, they are South India, they call Hayaba. Women India. Shoke Churinyama, Toyana, put it super true. Pay Tomoid. Because Dodge Churo there. Thank God, Nabishana, because that three to the letter. Yeah, Kono the Jintero.
So like there's I think it's a
Hayaba.
You know, so that's like
One India.
Indians, you know, so they wake up very early in the morning, like around 2 o'clock, and then you know, go and take a bath, you know, very cold water in the river, and then they stay like naked, you know, like throughout the time like that. So to us, you know, that's like it's an asceticism, you know, it's a very hardship, you know, why they're going through all this, you know, stuff. But for them, it is a big practice.
And the sugar to the concept, Lat Tiago, Tarabujash. Galas, the Mamushirosa.
And then at the end, you know, of that, you know, season or practice, you know, they have their god, you know, the statue of the god, and they all take, you know, to this place called Kerala in the South India, and they said that many die on the way, taking that there.
Anyway, like that, okay? Okay, that is Jumadina. That one is that indigenous, that Yami Karchevilla.
So if it's like that, then what kind of practice should we do?
That is saying what you need that. I need rather than Loshna.
Then it's in the verse 52 and 53. Emancipation depends not upon you alone. No one else can do anything to help. So endeavor to pursue the four realities for Aryas through learning, morality, and concentration. And always train in higher ethical conduct, higher wisdom, and higher concentration. There are more than 250 precepts ordained. All are included in these three higher trainings.
Okay, who would like to explain? You take water. Okay, now mark your book. While you're hard working, go to take your book from downstairs.
Okay. Emancipation depends upon you alone. I mean, no one else can do the work other than ourselves to study, to learn, to reflect, to gain realization. It has to be ourselves. So we should endeavor. The four realities for Aryas, I'm not sure what, I don't know exactly right now what to explain the four realities, but we should learn. The more we study, learning morality and concentration. Yeah.
Good, okay.
So what is emancipation here?
Okay, Mark.
Emancipation, I think it's a general term for liberation. I think.
From samsara.
Yeah.
Yeah, liberation from
Individual liberation.
Yeah.
Yeah. How I say
What does it mean to be liberated from samsara?
You're beyond the contaminated aggregates that are born of ignorance and delusion.
Yeah, so whenever you are free, whenever your mind is free, you know, from the delusions, then that's called emancipation.
Okay, it's good, but that's very, very short one.
So whenever one's mind is free from the delusion, then that's liberation.
Are you able to do that?
So is it possible to separate your mind from the delusions?
So that's because
So the mind is not in the nature of delusions, right? So, like, you know, we are not in a very deluded minded, right? Like very angry or very, you know, attached, you know, to the things, you know, like we are now. When we were like infant, when we were just born, were we like very attached, you know, to the things like right now? And now we know all the things, right? So I want this, I want that, I have so many things. When we were a child, we didn't have that attachment. So that shows, our mind is not in the nature of attachment.
제가 다니는 타와 내가 나 안에 샘 부모벌에 가리 타와 내가 타와라 그래.
So that's the emancipation. So whenever the mind is free from the delusions, and that's emancipation.
타와는 되게 타와의 수토가 지금나 대란이 지고요. 아니가 나래 그래.
So then who achieves that emancipation? It's oneself. So it depends on oneself, to achieve that emancipation.
아니 대는 가사 이제 저 취지. 아니 타와는 내가 요새 나빠지는 좀 되죠 말이지.
So nobody else can lead you, to the liberation or emancipation, saying that, oh, this is emancipation, you come here like that, right?
다 아니지. 아니 연주 자식의 샘지 샘배고네. 좀 나빠다봐. 아 다발라 내니 아니 수라 고내를 잡발라 아니 투좀 틀어지네. 셰 아니 투비테 아니 곰비테 삼지까지 투좀 곰선 뭐냐면 저거레스.
And so oneself, has to generate the wish, to be free from samsara, or to achieve liberation, right? So one should have that renunciation, and then based on that renunciation, then you abide in the moralities, in the moral, correct moral discipline, and develop the concentration and wisdom, and through that, then you will achieve the emancipation.
다에 내가 그네 용어가 남자 수지까지 덤바시 근데 나도 신청하려고 하는 지주마다 주도를 냠내 지발 때문에 아니 내가 더 지고레스.
And so then you endeavor, to pursue the four realities of the Arya, which is referring to the Four Noble Truths, right? And then there are like the Four Noble Truths, and then the 16 attributes of the Four Noble Truths. So by practicing, gradually all those parts, and like what is to abandon, in the Four Noble Truths, the two, right, the suffering and cause of the sufferings, and what are to be cultivated, and so forth. So by doing that, then you can achieve liberation or emancipation.
어디에 지내야 지가 단단가 또와 타다도 자기 또 많이 공부하는 매번째.
And then so with that, the moral discipline and the concentration, then you should strive, in understanding the emptiness or the lack of true existence.
한 대는 도도를 가르쳤습니다. 도도를 가르쳤어.
So what do you understand in short from this?
What you got the message?
Are you asking me?
Anyone, yeah.
Well, yeah, that liberation from samsara, it depends on our own efforts, and that we have to understand the Four Noble Truths and the three higher trainings. Have to.
Okay, it's true. We do mark.
Well, if Lord Buddha could have done it himself, we'd all be liberated now, right? But he can't, Guru Rinpoche can't, no one can. They can guide us, but we created the problem. We have to fix the problem.
Correct? Yeah.
Yeah, if we don't follow the guide, we don't get there.
제가 타와도 알았지 그래. 타와는 알았다는 게 같이 그랬어. 저는 가졌나? 아니 저런 게 두손 고줄 지고 그랬어.
And so it says the liberation or emancipation depends upon you alone. It means that you have to do it yourself.
오늘 게 가졌나?
And so what do you have to do?
아니 두손 공삼 지고 그랬어.
So you have to do the learning, the concentration and wisdom.
뭐다 대대다 이거가 되고 맞으시는 거 엄청 something. 라비 같은 라비 샤랍다. 라비 생각다 라바지스.
So you have to do the study, the contemplation and meditations, and then of what is that of the three trainings, which is explained in the verse 53. And so here it talks about in the always train in higher ethical conduct, higher wisdom, and higher concentration.
아니 네가로 좀 네가로 라비를 라비를
So what is the difference in the ethical conduct and the higher ethical conduct? So what do you understand when you say higher ethical conduct?
Motivation. If you just wanted to regular ethical conduct because you wanted to get something like worldly thing, that's normal. But higher is the motivation to enlighten for benefit of all sentient beings. That's the motivation.
Okay, are you guys believe that?
Yeah, like if you're just following, ethical conduct because you don't want to go to prison or, like, yeah, worldly consequences versus.
Okay, Bob.
Yeah, if you're doing it for a worldly reason, then you just get a worldly result.
Okay, what is what is
Higher training, higher conduct, higher ethical conduct was.
what the difference?
Your motivation is for liberation or enlightenment.
Okay. Yes.
I only have one.
It's with renunciation.
I agree with that, but maybe just a little different is that you have with a view of emptiness. Because sometimes if things are empty, you might not be as motivated in a middle level, right? But because like absolute bodhicitta is rooted in what? Emptiness.
How are you guys?
Oh, I was just thinking, so there's a new Lama of the Zopa Rinpoche book that came out called Perseverance, and it said, like, if you, like the fifth perfection of concentration, if you focus on persevering with generosity, ethics, and morality, you will naturally go to wisdom, and that is making me think about like that last component of this verse, concentration, like concentrating on these virtuous actions that purify your mind and purify your conduct. Whereas this gets me to the question, what would be the opposite of this concentration is focusing on worldly dharmas or focusing on doing these practices for
Okay,
our own self-gain.
okay, that's good. Any other people have different answer? Okay, Margaret. Angela?
Sorry, Margaret, go ahead.
Okay, it's not really different, but I think it's just renunciation with the motivation to attain Buddhahood, like to free myself as well as others from samsara. So that's the highest ethical. I mean, I practice ethical training with that motivation.
Okay.
Mhm.
I think it depends on, I mean, there's like a scope, for the higher one, I think maybe, I don't know, I'm just my guessing. For the bear one, you keep the virtue, but for the higher level is that probably because you are Ayo being, so you probably knows that if you try to benefit all the beings, and if they make some non-virtue or whatever, and you undertake their sin, or and then you were willing to tax, so there's a higher. I don't know, it's my guessing.
Okay, you guys are really guessing. I'm kidding. Okay, morning. Good morning. Oh no, you.
Sorry. I am listening, but I don't. I am listening. I want to say one thing though. This line about emancipation depends upon you alone. I think this is probably what, for me, makes Buddhism so challenging, because I still have, just because of my own religious background, I have I struggle with having a strong, you kind of like I like to still think that there's something out there that will help me. And I have to give that up. This thing that it's going to be you alone. That's a very hard idea for me to deal with. Because I guess I'm still stuck in samsara, and I understand it intellectually, but realistically, for me, that's a very hard line for me. That's all. That's really my only comment.
We are not.
And I find that's why I find Buddhism very challenging.
No,
because it's a whole different view of things. So.
Oh, very good. We are not
okay.
Stuck in samsara still. Only you.
Oh, yeah, right. All right, I'm here alone then. Okay,
You
all
guys,
right. Okay.
how about Sharon? You want to say something to it, Sharon? Okay, okay, it's okay. Okay, I think you guys are pretty good, but a little bit. Really, it was like guessing. And shutdown laws me, you know, the shina tumu la nyamle par.
So generally, the practice of the three trainings, is a common practice, of both Buddhism and non-Buddhism.
Labi lawas and the theory ki samari. Jamdu sembe labi nyamle na labi lawas.
And so the higher training, of morality, doesn't mean whether having the bodhicitta or the renunciation. So if it is conjoined, with the refuge, then it becomes a higher training of moral discipline.
Okay. This is the difference, yes.
That's different from, I think, what Geshe
What they wanted to say.
Well, his example was when you take precepts with the motivation of renunciation, it becomes higher ethical conduct.
Of course, this is of course, yeah. Tere la me lawas and they go level level do. Need to go level. Need to let the chore man. Lawas and they go level do.
So if you have renunciation, motivation, then of course it becomes,
Okay,
but
if you have refuge, that's
yeah. So if you become, if you have renunciation, yes, it will become. But in order to become a higher training, you don't have to have a renunciation. You can just have a refuge.
So then that's how it would become a Buddhist practice though, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's
you-
Buddhist one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Labi lawas and ku jamro yo da shambo ko laba shong tere no panja ta shong ro.
So it's because you have the refuge, that's why it's a higher.
This is how we because three trainings is a common practice. Okay, you get a lot of guess. But this is what we understand. What is the renunciation? You're free from the some delusions. You're what say?
liberation.
Liberation. This is very ethical. Take pen tam do go do. Xiang ju sa chen le pong po de zhan ge qi do na tan de go do de qie do. Yin ju te go xi da train de go de yo res.
So it is, if you, this is very easy to understand, right? So, you don't have to go through a whole lot of other explanations. So this way you just understand what you need to achieve liberation.
Right? And 다와 간이 토고는 수지 res.
So how do you achieve liberation? It's by yourself. You have to practice it yourself.
And 또 디나 대적인 양미책 res.
And, so what you have to do by yourself, is the practice of the Four Noble Truths.
아니 네 거로 라와서 양미책 res.
And then the practice the three trainings.
Good. 아니 좀 요만 비쇼라 바강에들 좀 일어봤어.
And so the practice, which prevents you from engaging in the non-virtuous action, is the morality.
And
that which makes you to abide in a single pointedly, is the concentration. And then that you do, by analyzing or understanding the truth or the reality, and that's the wisdom.
Right? This is how a couple of verses we understand. We have to understand like that. But you guys also check more the precepts, okay? Yes.
Yeah, so it says that there's more than 250 precepts for the
Oh yeah, I would ask that question.
All are included in the three higher trainings. So I usually think of the precepts as like an ethical conduct. So how are the higher trainings of concentration and wisdom included in those precepts?
What's the 100, 200, 200, what the 200?
It says 250.
Who can count this? What are they?
Of the ordained. I don't know.
Ordained.
I'm not.
Geshe can count. He's a fully ordained monk.
Oh, I cannot come. I'm not ordained.
Yeah, exactly.
Pambacha. Okay, count okay. Pambacha. Money. Pambashi. Okay. 4.
4 moral defeats.
How much of some?
13 remainings. And then 30 abandonments.
Bashiba Gucha.
Bashik.
Bashiba Gucha.
Bashibasana.
Yada Gu Nipa Yuta Niwa Dodoshi. Tight current. Tade change over there, Gumshur Kachi.
So then there's another vows, like the 90 vows, like that.
Nise Jada Juni.
And then 112 non-virtues.
Okay, how many? Read in the doc, you the cut.
Sorry,
4, 13, 30, 90, 112.
112.
It's 137 plus 112 is 249. Yeah, 249. Get to.
And then Tigalaya Karo, Sosha Shi. Sosha Shapashi session.
And then on top of that, there's like individual liberation abandonments. So there's Shira, so four of them.
How many?
That's 253.
How many?
53.
53, right? Is it like count?
It was just that how is a higher training of concentration and wisdom included in those? Just
Laba jajanga주 사실이 숨보티나 야다 도와줄사. 숨보티나 데서 데 숨보티나 도 그래서 그러다.
알레레.
숨보티나 숨보선 라바 숨나.
라바스나 들어다. 땡겨지 라바.
라바 자장아주 나도 그랬어.
저도 마 제가 처음 라바네 노래. 가서 처음 라바나. 썸데 라바스나. 숨나 아니 너 자등감 신가시대야. 라바스는 되게 돼서. 저 마저도 사마 처음 라바나 그러더라고.
So maybe I don't know. It's in English, it's a little different, right? So.
숨보다 양다 됐던데.
숨보디나 야다도 숨보디 대숨보디 세단 라바 숨디 아니 라바 자장아주 나올도 그랬어.
더 봐야 돼. 더 추가 준도 있어. 라바 자장아주 시바.
숨보디나 야다도 대숨보디다 라바 숨스거라. 디시디 라바 나주 라바 자자 가서 자장아주 세대.
The way I read it, it says the precepts are included in the 3 higher trainings.
Yes.
It doesn't say that all the 3 higher trainings are included
In the precept, yeah, exactly. So all are included. All these 250 precepts are included in these 3 higher trainings.
Yeah.
So they are all included in 3 higher trainings. So if it includes in the one of them, then it's also all this. That's the same as having all 3. So these all, are included in the higher training of morality. These are all moralities.
Okay?
Thank you. I have a question.
Yes.
So the monk has 253, nun has a little more. Why they have more, and then what are they?
You want to become nun? We're not allowed to explain that.
Why do they have more?
They are more noticed. No, there's I don't know, maybe from certain things that women are not allowed to do, and which doesn't apply to the man. So that's why it only goes to the women, and then there's one more for the nuns. From the body, from the way the body is formed.
I don't know exactly. So these are,
these are like the proscribed non-virtues, right? The proscribed. So like, so okay, so somebody did this. It wasn't a non-virtue. It wasn't bad, from the beginning. But then somebody did it, and then that caused harm to somebody else. And then, okay, now we're not supposed to do this. And then that's how it became like vow. Before, at the beginning, when Buddha had only 5 disciples, there was no vows like that. So whatever you're doing, and if that is causing harm or disturbance, to any of your practice, then it's okay. So this is not good. We should not do this. So from now on, we're not allowed to do this. Then it becomes vow like that. So one of the vow, like is to not touch like for a monk or then monk, it's not touch, not to touch a woman, not even like touch a woman like that. So normally, if somebody touch women, it's okay, right? But for a monk to touch a woman, it harms, to in some way, So therefore, it becomes like a vow. It becomes a restriction. Yeah, because it can cause harm, to their trainings or practices, right? So therefore, okay, so now as a monk, you're not allowed to touch women. So if Buddha hadn't passed away, maybe there'll be more nice. They'll do more and more wrong things. Then more than 253.
Just keep adding.
Collective punishment.
It's the same as the law of the country.
Yeah,
So
the
the amendments,
Constitution, yeah.
so they say, okay, this is causing harm, to the people, so let's not do this, like that. So then you make it become like a law, and then when you transgress or go against that, then you get fined by that.
Like that.
Like one of the nuns' vow, more than other than the men, the monks' vow is that they're not allowed to walk alone by themselves. They always have to walk in a company. Like in those days, like there was a risk of women, being kidnapped or raped and so forth. So they say, okay, so from now on you're not allowed to walk by yourself. You always have to have a company to walk with you.
Yeah, like that kind of. It's not like something serious. Not this very serious. Not like that. Emptiness. Okay. usually you're not allowed to talk for the monks and nuns vows for lay people. Yeah. Not to get on with the social to getting dead.
Yeah. So there are certain things, not everything, but like certain things are not allowed. Like there's when there's a confession ceremony where you confess about the vows that you have transgressed, and then there's for the fully ordained monk, there are like 253 vows, right? So then there's a novice monk, who only have 36 vows, and then there's like a regular monks, they don't have any of those, so they are not allowed to come to the confession ceremony. And then when there is a there's a part for the confession ceremony for the novice monks, and then there's a part for the fully ordained monks. So when there's a part, for the fully ordained monks are done, the novice monks are not allowed also. So like that. So then when you take the ordination, like the full ordination, then at that time it's only 3 people at a time take it. So those 3 who are taking will listen, of course, they have to listen to the vows that's been explained or that's been given to them, right? But then the rest are not allowed to listen, they have to cover their ears. So if you hear that, then you will not want to become monk. I mean, you don't want to, be fully ordained monk, so you don't want to take all this ordination.
I'm gonna write the novice.
So if you were to explain all these vows, maybe you will not want to take a monk.
Yeah, this really happened.
Yeah.
Is that the same why you can't know what the tantric vows are before you take them?
I don't know. Not
very sure.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to answer that. Yeah, so there's because of the certain vows, authentic vows that you're not allowed, to listen to, but I don't think, because if you listen to that, you will not want to take it.
Okay, it's not the same reason.
Yeah.
아주 저는 마태밥 가로 저랑 뒤에 당신 그 왕을 마시고 될 납치와 말이지 대화면에 납치와 말이라 그래. 대저 대화 이거는 납치로 소셔야 될 것 같아.
So if you haven't entered into the the mandala, then you are not allowed to explain about the mandala. And in order to that, you have to be initiated. And then, but if you have the faith, then you are allowed to be explained. But
마태밥을 납치 말이야.
then if you don't have a faith, then you should not explain to them.
그 뒤에 마태밥 가장 나도 그런 나한테 딱 나한테 대화한다요. 도발 잡으랬어. 대소문고 사기였나? 미 가지고 jet 메딩에 가지고 납치 말이야.
Yeah, so then that might lead people, if they don't have faith, if they don't believe in that and they don't have faith, and then you try to explain to them, then that might mislead them, so they might get wrong ideas.
진짜 today because you are living today, you can ask any questions.
So in Geshe degrees, in order to get Geshe degrees, the study of Vinaya comes at the end. Is that correct? Then is that because they don't want the wives at the end?
I think you will become.
No. I'm just wondering. Is it because they don't want them to hear Vinaya?
대화가 대사처럼 달 말이야. 가서 처럼 달고 있어 말이야.
No, I don't think that's for the reason, because it's not. That's not the what do you call that? Order. That's not the order in all the monasteries. They have a different order. So some they study before that.
Yeah. I'm not sure, but they all know all. They are not all the same. Okay. What do we learn? How? What's wonderful? What's liberation? Yeah. Delusion.
Yeah. So freeing your mind from affliction.
Okay,
when you free your mind from the afflictions or delusions, then that's
next time someone like that, you need to just exactly like that. Remember last year, Kurukulla asked a question, you guys all failed.
Yeah.
They give very simple questions.
I got 75.
You got 75. Good. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, like that study is interesting things, right? Good. And also research more for develop question. You try to such a yapon there tavishen that and I'm going to do Mishamba the Torna go Kalido.
See, we're trying to say that what they are doing is wrong, but what we're doing is correct. But when people may have question like that, right? Just like they raise a question, and so you have to be able to answer in the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then think about that more.
Okay, thank you, Deborah. Good question. Also, make for the Margaret also go get to the book before she was lazy. She said, "Oh, maybe I don't have to go then." She has no choice. This makes very good teaching. Next time you always say, "Oh, maybe you should ask me." Always very good. Anyway, okay, now we stop.
Okay, please turn to page 39 for the Thanksgiving mandala offering. Sashi Perkin Shin Yitaka, Riva Benshi Nidekan Padi, Sanke Shintu Mike Uadi, Roku Namba Jingla Tripashu, Jetun Name
Kutse Rapten Jaya Nankura Trine Shoje Jepada, Losatan Drume Sa Sanjin, Drume Satavahana Gershi, Guru Rama Kanya.
In that snow mountain encircled land, source of every benefit and joy, may Lord Tenzin Gyatso Chenrezig remain in life till samsara's end. Savior of the snowland teachings and transmigratory beings, who extensively clarifies the path and unifies emptiness of compassion, to the lotus in the hand, Lord Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be fulfilled. Page 49. You who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjuna's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplish magnificent prayers honoring the three jewels, Savior, myself, and others, your disciples, please return swiftly. Page 57. Through this virtue, may I, having gained Guru Buddha state, place each and every sentient being without exception in that state. Precious supreme Bodhi mind, may it where unborn arise, and where born never decline, but increase forevermore.
Okay, thank you everyone.